Welcome back, everyone, to the My Take Hoops podcast. Today we have consensus top 3 prospect in the 2021 class and Duke commit Paolo Banchero on the podcast. Welcome, and how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on here.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited because you've got a lot of fans around the world, and I put out a poll so I have some like follower submitted questions, and a lot of people submitted questions. You got a lot of fans, so. Like I said, it's a very conversational podcast. I've got a few questions, but we're just gonna kind of, I guess, chop it up a little bit if that's cool with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So you're born and raised in Seattle, Washington. So what's it like growing up out there, and how's the basketball culture? Because I'm personally from the Midwest, so I've never even been out there. So tell me a little bit about that area of the country.
Yeah, it's when people think of like the West Coast. They think of like, California mainly. But in Seattle, it's a real strong basketball culture. There's countless amount of players, not just Seattle too. It's just Washington. There's Tacoma, Isaiah Thomas, Avery Bradley. Those players are from Tacoma. And then there's Spokane, Adam Morrison, John Stockton's from Spokane. So it's just all over Washington. Joe Harris is from Chelan. So all over Washington, it's a strong basketball culture, and especially in Seattle.
Yeah, that I didn't even know that, and I think every time I have someone on here, a player, I'm always find myself saying like that the area they're from is underrated in terms of basketball talent, and like I think Seattle, or from what you say, Washington in general, just very underrated. Would you say the same?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's starting to get. I think it's starting to pick up some more notoriety now, though. Just because there's a player from Seattle in the draft every single year almost, it seems
right
like now. Jaden this year, well, not just Jaden, Malachi Flynn, CJ Ellaby, I think I'm forgetting somebody. But, yeah, there's a player every year. Kevin Porter last year.
So there is a lot of talent, yeah.
There's a lot, yeah. And then there's a lot, me coming up this year with Nolan, Marjon Beauchamp, like there's just a lot of players that are from Seattle or Washington that are going to be in that game.
Yeah. So do you miss a team being out there, an NBA team?
Yeah, I was born in 2002, and I think they left in 2008.
Okay.
So I never went to a Sonics game.
Okay.
But I do remember them being here a little bit. I remember Kevin Durant being here as a rookie. And yeah, like especially now, because I see it like if we had an NBA team here, like the city would be. It already is a great sports city, like it's a great sports city, but like it would just be like way more alive if we had an NBA team, And I'm pretty confident, like whatever team that came here, like all the players would love it. Like just Seattle's a great city, so
I've heard,
the fans are great.
Yeah, I've heard Seattle is it's one of the places I really want to travel to. I've been to Oregon. But I've heard Seattle is just a really cool place.
Yeah, and it's like not even just for sports, like just for lifestyle. Like a lot of people move here and stuff like that.
So your parents were both athletes at the University of Washington, correct?
Yeah.
So have you pretty much had a ball in your hands practically since you were born, or what was it like growing up with two athletic parents?
Yeah, pretty much just how you said it. My mom, growing up, she was a coach. One of my early years, she was a coach of at a community college, and then I think when I was like 5 or 6, she left and coached high school, and she stopped coaching high school when I was like 13. So my whole childhood, I was in the gym every day at practices, staying after practices, working with my mom. Even days I didn't want to, she was making sure I, got my work in. Even if I didn't have basketball shoes or clothes, like I would work out my school clothes and stuff like that. And then my dad had me into football. I started playing football when I was 7. So I was always on the football field. I ran track, played baseball. I did everything. And then it ended up being just football and basketball. And then I stopped playing football after my freshman year. I just kept playing basketball.
Yeah, I saw online somewhere that you were actually really big into football, and you were a highly touted quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. So what made you switch, and how did that affect your game on the court?
Yeah, what made me switch was I just kind of fell out of love with it, I would say. There was a point in time in my childhood I remember clearly where football was by far my favorite sport. And it was a sport I was the best at. Like I was really, really, really good. So it was my favorite sport because I was doing really well. Um, so yeah, what made me kind of stop was, I fell out of love with it. I loved games and stuff, but like more when I got to high school, practice and stuff like that, I just didn't really like it a lot. And then I also was getting really tall, it was kind of started getting hit in the knees a little bit. So I just, and by that time, I kind of figured that I would end up playing basketball. So I just didn't want to risk it anymore. So I just stopped.
Yeah, that's fair. And I like the point you said, like when you fall out of love with it, you kind of get to see it in practice because everyone likes the games. But
Mm-hmm.
when you start not liking practice, I think that is where it's a big indication. And I think actually that's what makes a really good player in whatever sport you're doing. If you love practice, if you love that just as much as you love the game, you're probably going to be pretty good.
Exactly.
And you said you hit a growth spurt. So how tall were you freshman year before you stopped
Yeah.
playing?
Freshman year, I was like 6'7", 6'7.5". I hit my
Six
big
seven
growth spurt.
quarterback.
Yeah, no, and I looked like a giant out there. So if I was playing now, it'd be even more ridiculous because I'm like 6'10" now. So it would look
Jeez.
ridiculous out there. Yeah. So, but my big growth spurt was in seventh grade. Started my seventh grade year, I was like 6'1", and then by the time I was like by July going in eighth grade, I was 6'5.5", almost like 6'6".
Oh my gosh.
So
I'm
yeah,
6 foot and I consider myself tall.
yeah, yeah. So I grew a lot. Like it was a lot on my knees. I couldn't really move well. Like I was real stiff because I was growing so much. And yeah, but yeah, it was a big growth spurt.
I can imagine. When I went through my 3 inch growth spurt, my knees hurt all the time. I can't imagine going through like 5, 6 inch growth spurt.
Yeah.
Did you get to play at the Pangos camp this year?
hmm
How was that?
It was fun. It was a little different because I've been to Pangos. I went to the youth one when I was younger, and then I went to the one last year. So it was a little different just because it wasn't really a camp. It was 2 games. But no, it was good. Though. It was real competitive. I will say it was much more competitive than Pangos has been past. Just a lot more like it was a lot more serious. Players playing a lot more harder, playing more team basketball. Um, but yeah, it was good. It was good. It was fun.
That's one of my main goals is to make it out to a camp like that because, like you said, it's competitive. There's lots of talent there. Um, I'm assuming there's NBA personnel there watching. Is that correct?
Um, I know at Pangos last year there was. I don't know if there was this year. I don't think there might have been. I'm not sure. But I know for a fact there was last year.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I really want to go see because when it's like that, it's the top players in the country just battling it out, and like it's just pure competition, and I think that is so dope. Um,
Yeah.
so you mentioned Nolan earlier on. So how's
Mhm.
it playing with a guy like Nolan Hickman, who is one of the best point guards in the country at finding players on the move and hitting them in the open court? Can you speak to a little bit of what it's like to play with him?
Yeah. I've known Nolan since I was like a little kid, like 6 years old. Like me and Nolan have played three different sports together on the same team. Like we were really like I got a group of like best friends and like he's in that group, like that's my brother. So like it's like the chemistry, like we done seen each other grow so much. Like so to see where we are now is crazy. And our chemistry is stronger than anyone else I played with. So yeah, it sucks that we couldn't get to college together because I know that was something we wanted to do. But I know he's gonna kill it at Kentucky and he know I'm gonna kill it at Duke. But as far as just on the court with him, it's great just because especially for me, he takes a lot of the burden off me. A team can't just lock in on me because we have Nolan. I mean, we have other great players too, but
Right.
like,
Yeah.
he's another cornerstone of the team, and he's working the perimeter and coming off ball screens, making plays, scoring, and doing everything. So yeah, he makes it real easy.
Yeah. And you're going to a thing about going to somewhere like Duke or any big school is you're going to have players like that just make everyone else better, and it only is beneficial to the team. And so I
Exactly.
guess to have that in high school it makes you pretty dominant, I would say.
Yeah, no, it definitely, and it's just I mean, it's crazy to see because now he's finally getting the national recognition that I feel like he should have been getting since his freshman year. So like he finally getting it now, and it's good to see. Like I think he's tied probably. He's definitely tied for the number one point guard in the country. I think him and Kennedy are tied. I think those two are the best point guards in the country. And I think he for sure is a McDonald's All-American. So I hope he gets a spot in that game.
Yeah, I personally just heard about his name bursting onto the scene this year when I saw he committed to Kentucky, because I go to the University of Kentucky. So I was like, oh my gosh, we just got a top point guard. I'd heard the name a little bit, but I haven't really looked into his game. But yeah, you're right. He just kind of burst onto the scene this year, and it's really good to see for him.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've got to ask, why Duke?
Yeah. Just why Duke?
Yeah. What made Duke the one for you?
Yeah, it's a combination of a lot of things, on the court and off the court. The area the school is in, Durham is a real nice area. It's not like in the middle of nowhere or anything. It's
great college town.
It's kind of like in a suburb, but there's a lot of stuff around it. It's not like in the country. And then the campus is really, really nice. The people there, it's a real diverse school. It's a great academic school. And then as far as the basketball piece, that just kind of speaks for itself. Coach K, Coach Shire, the whole staff. They've won national championships, and Coach Shire's won it as a player and as a coach. So it's just like it's a winning culture. Their play style, their system fits me the best. And yeah, I mean, it was my recruitment was crazy. It was neck and neck for a very, very, very long time, and then I would say like this summer they kind of Duke separated themselves finally, just because. I was like, people kept telling me, you're gonna have a school that's gonna finally, separate themselves. And I'm thinking like, this is never gonna happen. Like,
yeah,
I can't decide, between like 4 schools, I can't decide. And then finally, Duke separate themselves. So it was,
well, yeah, that's awesome, because it would not be a great experience if you had to kind of just blindly pick one of 4. So it's good that they did separate themselves.
Yeah, I wanted to be 100% sure.
Right.
So.
Oh yeah. For sure. But yeah, when you can be 100%, you can go in with a completely different mindset, and you can really make the most out of the situation.
Yeah.
Oh, you mentioned Duke's campus. I visited there a little bit. I thought it was insane. I thought it was beautiful, right? I mean, it's just a great, like you said, great town. Just everything about it. It looks just really good.
Yeah. Nah, it's a great town. Like it just fits. So, like I went there and I was walking around and stuff, I could see myself, living there for, being comfortable living there, like some colleges I went to, I got there and I was like, I don't know if, I like it here just off living here, like just being around the town and stuff. Like, I just didn't know, but like being there, and I got family out there. So it's really, yeah, it's comfortable. So
yeah, as long as you can feel at home, no matter where you're at, I think you'll obviously produce better if you feel at home. Coach K, obviously one of the best coaches to ever live. So how excited are you to get down there and to learn from him? Because Duke's had some really great forwards in the past few years. So I guess how excited are you to get down there and learn from him?
No, I'm excited. If I could go now, I would go now. But yeah, no, I'm excited. Like Coach K, he's gave me, him and the rest of the staff, they give me a lot of good pointers and advice now that I use. So like when I get there, I'm gonna learn so much more. Like there's a lot of stuff I don't know, and a lot of stuff that I can get better at that they're gonna really help me improve on. And the biggest thing though is that they really, really believe in me. Like, and so
that's the most important thing, I would say.
Yeah.
Are there any players that you try to model your game after? I saw on an interview with Draft Express at the USA camp, you mentioned AD and Karl Anthony Towns, but anyone in specific that you model your game after?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, like, I don't really have a person who I model my game after. For me, like growing up, like, and stuff, I, like, see something, or if I see someone do a move, it don't matter who it is. If I see a move that I like, I'm going to go try it. So, like, like that little jab rock that I do, where I like kind of jab and like kind of do it twice almost and freeze the defender. I kind of got that from Carmelo and Kobe just off their mid post game. They've used that, and so I use that and just other stuff. Um, there's also like a little same foot, like right-legged shot that I shoot sometimes, and I saw LeBron do that, and I picked that up and started doing that. Like, so stuff like that. I don't really have a person who I model my game after, but there's a lot of players that I do watch. AD, I watch AD, Carmelo, LeBron, um, just a lot of big forwards who are versatile and can do a lot of things on the court. I watch a lot of them.
So you just pick little things from each of their game.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that a lot because then you diversify yourself, and versatility is everything in the modern NBA. And you're one of the most versatile forwards in the class, if not the most versatile forward. And like I said, like if you can be versatile in the NBA today, like you are going to make a lot of money.
Exactly.
So I've got a few follower submitted questions, if that's okay with you, because like I said, I put that poll out and there are a lot of questions, but I picked 3 if that's okay with you.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Brendan asks, what do you think separates good AAU players from great players in terms of getting recruited?
I would say for sure, when you're on the circuit in EYBL, Adidas, Under Armour, you got a lot of coaches with there watching you, and they don't just watch, they don't really care. That's a lot of people get messed up. People think if I go out and score 20 points, like I'm gonna get an offer or something. That's not what coaches is always looking for. If you're talking, if you're being a great teammate, if you're doing little things on the court, if you're in help, if you're just doing all that stuff, if you have like certain things like that, they might just offer you. I've seen people get offered just off stuff like that, like not even putting up big numbers, just doing little things, getting rebounds, helping their teammates up, clapping, talking on the floor. Obviously, you got to, be good and all that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
It's just little things that I think coaches look at.
That is a fantastic answer. I'm a huge fan of that answer. Anyone that's listening, take that answer to heart, because I think there's a misconception out there, especially with AAU basketball, where if you put up 35 points, you're the next best thing because Slam Ball's Life for Overtime posted you and you got 10,000 Instagram followers from it. Like you have to, like you said, do the little things. That is how that's a fantastic answer. Anyone listening, rewind that and listen to that answer. That's
I think some coaches won't. Some coaches aren't going to recruit a player because they don't think, like, a lot of coaches will recruit. They have a system, they have a certain play style, they have a certain player that they like, that they're used to coaching, so they're going to go after that player or a player that they think is going to fit their system. Like, just because you're the best player, don't mean a certain coach is going to recruit you. Like,
exactly.
There's a couple schools that when I was like a freshman, 8th grade, that I would have loved to get recruited by. But like as time went on, I kind of realized, I don't fit their system, So you don't take it personal, but some coaches don't think you would fit there, and they're right. If they don't think you're gonna fit there, you're probably not gonna fit there. So don't take it personal.
Yeah, and we saw that happen with Javon Quinterly, and he's not shy about talking about that. He went to Villanova, and he very much does not fit that system. It's a slow down system. He gets to Alabama, and he's producing really well now because he can play fast, and playing into the system is huge. And obviously for you at Duke, like I said, big forward school. They've had really good forwards come out of it. Like obviously you fit that system.
Exactly.
Doug asks, who is the toughest player you've had to go up against?
Toughest player I've had to go up against. I've guarded some good players, but I would say the toughest is probably Kevin Porter Jr. When he was a senior, I was a freshman, and we played in the same conference, and we played them 3 times. And he was a load. Like, he's probably one of the most like talented players I've had to guard. There's a lot of strong players. Isaiah Stewart, he was really strong and a lot to deal with. But Kevin is strong, mean, athletic. Like, he just there wasn't nothing he couldn't do. So my freshman year, I had that assignment, and it was hard. We beat him one time though. We did beat him one time.
Hey, that counts. That's for sure counts. He's about to kill it in Cleveland. He put up a good season last year, kind of underrated. I think he can really explode this year. He's just, like you said, fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Last question from Kai. He said, what made you fall in love with the game?
Probably my mom.
Your mom?
Just having me in the gym, like, since I was literally, like, before I can even remember. Just being in the gym, watching. I was always usually watching girls basketball because that's all she coached. But that's what made me fall in love with the game. And then I started watching it on TV, started watching it on YouTube, started watching it everywhere. I didn't really watch cartoons, if I'm being honest. I might have, on a Saturday morning or something, I'm trying to watch the game. I'm not trying to watch cartoons. And that's how I've always been. Luckily, growing up, luckily there wasn't social media really when I was growing up, like Instagram. I didn't get Instagram until I was like 14. So by that time I was already, but like growing up, a lot of like young kids be on their phone, be on the computer, stuff like that. For me, like I was just locked in on basketball, always watching some highlights, always watching some Balls Life mixtapes or something. So for me, that's what made me fall in love with the game.
That is awesome. That is so cool because I think, yeah, just watching it can make you, like you said, fall in love with it. And I think that's a great way to do it because if you have your mom, obviously, like showing you how to do it, showing you the ropes, like if your family's into it, obviously you're going to be into it. And then you fall in love. Like I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's all I really did growing up. My mom don't coach anymore, so like my little brother, he never really got to have the same experience that I had. Just being around the game as much. Even though he does love the game and he worked real hard. But like me, like I just was, I don't know, it was like I was born into it. I just was from the jump. Just was in the gym with my mom, working on my game.
You still a junkie? You watch college basketball at all?
Oh yeah, I'm about to go tune in. This game's starting like 22 minutes.
Yeah. Is it Duke and Illinois? Or is that later tonight?
Nah, that's later. The first game is UNC in Iowa.
Okay. Oh yeah. Today, tomorrow. I mean,
Yeah,
this
I'm
week in general.
all day. I'm not.
Oh
My
yeah.
TV's not going. I'm just going to switch back and forth.
Oh yeah, I love college basketball. Probably my favorite brand of basketball to watch. Obviously, I'm into the high school prospects a little bit more, but yeah, college basketball. There's nothing like it, man.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I just hope when I get to do, we'll be past all this COVID stuff. We can have fans at the games because that's like been a dream of mine since I was a kid. Just playing in front of big crowds in away games and stuff like that. So
and Cameron Indoor. Like the Cameron Crazies, like they would. Oh, that I feel so bad for the team this year that they don't get to have that experience because those fans are awesome. I mean that's my bucket list to go to a game at Duke, and I just want to be in that environment. And I really hope you guys get to do it because like it's once in a lifetime, and
exactly
it's really special.
Yeah, so that's big for me.
All right. Well, I don't have much else for you. Thank you again so much for coming on. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for taking out your time out of your day to do this. It really means a lot.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I enjoyed it.